So I guess Inda really didn't want Murderbot on preservation. We'll check it out next. Hello and welcome back to the couch. We saved you a seat. My name is Luke and today we're checking out Chapter 2 of Fugitive Telemetry. Yes, this is actually the second chapter of this book, the sixth book, excuse me, in the Murderbot Diaries series. Yes, we're on the sixth book. If you'd like to follow along, you can use the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to Amazon. You can buy the book. It supports the channel. You can also join the membership. It's $2, and honestly, it doesn't help with anything, but help me get another glass of tea or whatever. It's just to help support the channel, and we really appreciate it. But let's jump into this chapter. So this chapter is 2 parts. And I kind of like the 2-part structure for these early chapters. So the first part of the chapter, we do a flashback to when Inda and some of the other executives first meet Murderbot. And as an audience, we get to discover that maybe Inda doesn't like Murderbot. Now, it feels like racism. Just gonna say it out loud. It feels like racism. But it also feels like accusatory. There's this moment in that chapter, and I honestly read so quickly, I passed on it the first time. I had to go back and reread it. I was like, oh, what's happening here? But Inda accused Dr. Mensah of using dangerous weapons, but sometimes dangerous weapons can turn on you. Well, Mensah's a pacifist. Mensah wasn't having any part of that. No. That's some negative thoughts within the ranks. It was kind of one of those moments where it was like, oh, as a matter of fact, once she said it, once Inda said it, there's like a full page of like, oh crap. And then Mensah very calmly says, well, I'm just going to assume, we're just going to say that you didn't say that. And then Inda apologizes. But this is a big part of the chapter. We're really figuring out that Inda really doesn't want Murderbot on preservation. Who can blame her? It's essentially a walking nuke. It can destroy all of them. And they have this impression, they've been led to believe, that Murderbots, that sec units, that combat sec units, all have this intent to destroy, to kill. And so I understand Inda's frustration, but is she the one? Did Inda murder this thing, this person that they found? We don't find out in this chapter. We're going to find out soon, I think. The second part of this chapter is pretty interesting. We're really getting into the meat and potatoes of what we're looking for here. We see a few things, and Murderbot kind of lets us know. Very interesting details. Very minute stuff that most things wouldn't catch, but Murderbot for sure did. One was that they don't have a ton of DNA samples for everyone who's in and out of the station. We know this, it's in the book. But here's the thing that's interesting, is that the clothes and everything surrounding the body had some sort of cleaning field, I think that's what they call it, where there was only the DNA of other things and not the DNA even of the person. So the body was placed there from somewhere else and it was cleaned. Also, the clothing. I love Murderbot's logic here regarding the clothing. Like, it was like, oh, there's 2 ways to be unnoticed, right? You can hide amongst the crowd in nonchalant, earthy tones. We'll call them earthy tones. Or you can act like you've been there before in bright colors and moving around and having fun and blah, 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 blah. Well, this character that they found dead is found on the ground with these bright colors, right? Like they're a tourist. So you can assume that this tourist, knowing how far it takes to travel from one place to another, would have a bag. This thing didn't have a bag. So there's a lot of things happening here. The IDing the victim, the murder, what does he call him? Whatever. IDing the victim, the fact that it's wearing goofy and louder clothing, non-traditional to preservation clothing, and the fact that it didn't have a travel bag with it. huge indication that obviously some foul play had happened here. I'm interested to see how this goes. We really got 2 really short chapters to give us the launch pad into what I think is going to happen in the 3rd chapter. And what I think is going to happen in the 3rd chapter is Murderbot's going to stumble into a conversation that it doesn't belong, that it doesn't want to be a part of, but then notice a few details, a few changes in behavior, a few changes in the way things operate. And it's like, well, this isn't what I thought preservation was like. That's going to trigger some sort of motive, some sort of thought. But we lead into the next chapter with the travel bag. I love that. And so we're going to be looking for a travel bag. No telling if we're going to find it or not. I'm pretty excited about the next chapter. These first 2 chapters, very short. Like I said in the last one, we really had those book 1, 2, 3, 4 to kind of bounce off of. You really were just thrust into the action, thrust into the thought processes of Murderbot, having to kind of elude cameras and elude security. Now it doesn't need to do that, so we've got to do a little bit more table setting on how the conflict is going to build up. There's not really an inciting incident here. I mean, there is, but it's not surprising. It's just a noir detective thing. Oh, there's a dead body. Oh, their security expert doesn't like me. I wonder why. I'm seen as more dangerous than I am, but I have the trust of the local administrator, the local leader. Pretty noir, pretty normal kind of thing. But I am excited. We do get some drone. We're going to get some drone work, which we didn't get a ton of in previous books, and we're going to get some other things. My final thought is I love that it's like the victim, the deceased, they all get kind of mad at Murderbot for calling it different names, and I found that to be kind of funny. Oh, and the last thing I'll say, which I think is interesting, is because of Murderbot's processing power, it also received the files from the assistant, Turl, who, and Murderbot was easily like, bup, 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 bup. Oh, okay, I got it. Cool, thanks for the heads up. I think, Murderbot's a jerk. There's some immaturity there. Obviously, it's something that kind of irritates Mensa, irritates everyone else. But at the same time, it is the best tool you have to solve this case. We'll see if Enda Turl put that behind them and really try to solve this case, or if it is, in fact, Enda who did it in order to get rid of Murderbot. We'll see. That's kind of my thought process. We're going to come back around to that. Also, we still have Gray Chris floating around there. And like we talked about before, we have the combat bot. This thing that we're for sure going to see. So we're for sure going to see the combat bot. We're going to see if the combat bot is friends with Murderbot or if the combat bot is enemies with Murderbot. You don't know yet. Should be a good time. But I think that's all I've got. This is, like I said, a pretty short chapter. So we're going to keep it kind of short. The next chapter is a little bit longer. Maybe the length of both first and second ones combined. So we'll really get into some meat and potatoes and really see what preservation is like. And hopefully see some of the other casts that we've seen before. Maybe introduce us to some new people. So I think that's it. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Please subscribe. So close to all of the subscribers we need to move to the next level. And once again, buy the book. Use the Amazon link to purchase something else. It really helps out the channel. We know people buy stuff on Amazon. We know they do. So just use the link. Buy toilet paper. We know you need to. But until next time, later, taters.